Now, please put your hands together for Jean Landreth.
Well, I think I should start out by telling you guys that I've never done anything like this before. I mean, this whole comedy thing. The fact is, unlike most of you guys, I'm just not that funny. What I have done over the years is to tell stories. Motivational stories, inspirational stories, stories meant to inspire. Now, I know that's not what you guys came here for tonight, and it's certainly not stand-up comedy, but to start out there, I'm hoping you will indulge me and allow me to use my 10 minutes telling you a few of these stories.
Yes.
So, here we go. My first wife hated sex. I'm not talking about like those wives who can take it or leave it. I guess some of you ladies can identify with that. Or even like those other wives who have given the option of having sex or not having sex, would always choose not to have sex. But I mean, she loathed the very thought of having sex with me. Now, in her defense, I probably wasn't very good at it. I mean, I was a virgin when we got married, and I'd never had sex before. But according to her, the more we did it, the more I sucked at it. And then the more she hated it. A vicious one-way street. I learned later that good sex, like good dancing, requires a certain amount of rhythm, which I had absolutely none. I never really learned to dance. I was raised by a devout, God-fearing Southern Baptist Christian mother, and dancing was definitely on her taboo list. I think the first time I even tried to dance was early in my freshman year of college. And if I remember correctly, somebody told me that I looked like a guy with alligator arms trying to pull a lit firecracker out of his But for whatever reason, the mere idea of having sex with me seemed to make her physically ill. I did discover that there was one thing, though, that she hated even more than actually having sex with me, and that was having to listen to me beg for it. Which apparently I did quite often. I'm guessing some of you ladies can identify with that. But I used this time to negotiate a deal. She agreed that we would have sex twice a year, no questions asked, if I would just quit begging for it. And the way that worked was that each of us would choose a date, an actual date, a date we could mark on the calendar, much like a national holiday. And this being very special and unique to me, I had chosen my birthday. And never missing an opportunity to make a point, she chose Labor Day. But after a few years, even that proved more than she could handle. And we just simply quit doing it all together. As a matter of fact, the subject rarely came up, if ever. I was working at U.S. Steel alongside my very good friend Cairo. And one day in the locker room after work, I admitted to him that it had been over 3 years since I'd had sex with my wife. And he said, "Oh my God, man, please tell me that at least you're getting some on the side." And I said, "Do what?" He said, "Are you getting any on the side?" I said, "Carol, it's been so long since I had any. I didn't even know they'd moved it to the side." Now, you might well be asking yourself, how could anybody reach that age in life and still be that clueless? Well, as I said, I was raised in a devout Southern Baptist Christian home. And the subject of sex was never discussed. And I mean never discussed. As a matter of fact, my mother said if I ever did discuss it, or if I ever asked anybody any questions about it, or if I ever read a book about it, or if I ever looked in a magazine trying to find out about it, if I ever did any of these things or anything like it, that God would punish me severely. And I believed her. Because, well, why would my mother lie to me about it? As far as my father goes, I think that he assumed that I would learn about these things from my friends at school. Even though I'm pretty sure he was well aware that I had never had any friends at school, male or female. I say this because at some point he had approached me and said, "Gene, it's really sad and unhealthy that you've never had any friends at school. And we need to do something about that." And he decided the best way to do that was for me to learn to play a musical instrument. Because all kids love music, don't they? And maybe this would be the best way to find some good friends. Unfortunately, he settled on the accordion. Of course, that was decades before you could Google the possibility of having any friends at school with a boy who plays the accordion. So all things considered, I decided to stay in the good graces of God and my mother and simply remain clueless on the subject of sex.
That's how we do it.
I discovered masturbation quite by accident. As a matter of fact, for some time, I thought that I had invented it. But whether I had invented it or not, oh my word. I mean, I had lived a good life at that point. I had done a lot of exciting things. I had ridden a donkey all the way down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Not once, but twice. I had seen Elvis Presley live in concert. I had ridden the Great Screen Machine at Six Flags over Georgia more than 50 times. But this was way better than any of those things. I'm guessing some of you men can identify. Let me rephrase that. I'm guessing all of you men can identify. But suddenly I found myself using this newfound discovery to reward myself for almost any achievement. For cutting the grass without being asked, or for helping my mother with the dishes, for reading my Bible before bed, for doing my homework after school, for getting good grades, for getting bad grades. And God didn't seem to be too angry with me about it. I mean, he never seemed to punish me in any way. I did get a little concerned that he might not be too happy with how often I was participating. So I decided to do a deep dive into the Bible to see if there were any scriptures that referred to this particular activity, or at least referred to that part of the Bible. And if there were any, well, I couldn't find them. So I finally swallowed my pride and went and asked my father about it. And he assured me that it was quite common, that I had not invented it after all, and that there were definitely some verses in the Bible that referred to that part of the Bible, one of which I memorized way back then and can quote to this very day. Jeremiah 1:17. Therefore arise and gird your loins about you and go and minister to those that I have commanded. So, feeling much better about the whole situation for the next several years, I girded my loins about 3 times a day. Well, that's it. If I ever do this again, maybe I'll tell you about the day that I finally allowed myself to unlock the hidden mysteries of the opposite sex. And that's a story that you will definitely find funny. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the stories that I told you and trust that you found them truly inspirational.